Chapter 1. Waking up with a second heartbeat, I woke up choking on air. My hand flew to my chest as pain ripped through me, sharp and sudden, like my body was screaming before my mind could catch up. The ceiling above me was white, too white. The smell of medicine burned my nose. "Easy," a woman's voice said. "Don't move." I turned my head. A nurse stood beside the bed, calm but alert. Where am I?" "Hospital," she replied. "You collapsed." Collapsed? That didn't make sense. The last thing I remembered was dying. Cold. Alone. Broken. I pushed myself up anyway. "What year is it?" She blinked. "Excuse me? What year?" I repeated. My heart was racing now. "Tell me." "Relax," she said gently. "It's 2023. My breath caught. No, that was impossible. I looked down at myself. My hands were smaller, younger. No scars from the end. No wrinkles from grief. And then I felt it. A strange warmth low in my stomach. Pressure. Presence. "No," I whispered. No. The nurse followed my gaze. "You're pregnant," she said softly. "About 10 weeks. The room tilted. Pregnant. I had been pregnant once before. In my last life. The pregnancy that ended in pain, betrayal, and silence. I pressed both hands to my belly, trembling. "That's not possible." "It is," she said. "Your vitals are stable now, but you fainted from stress." "Stress." I laughed, short and broken. "You could say that." The door opened. I didn't need to look to know who it was. "I'm here," he said. "What happened?" That voice. My stomach twisted. I turned my head slowly. There he was. My husband. Younger. Cleaner. No guilt on his face yet. No regret in his eyes. Just impatience hiding behind concern. "You scared everyone," he said. "Why didn't you answer your phone?" I stared at him. In my last life, this was the man who stood across from me and said, "I don't love you anymore." This was the man who chose another woman while I carried his child. This was the man who watched me fall apart and walked away. "You okay?" he asked, frowning. "Why are you looking at me like that?" I swallowed hard. "How long have we been married?" The nurse glanced between us. "Sir," he laughed awkwardly. "What kind of question is that?" "Answer me," I said. 3 years, he replied. "Why?" 3 years. In my last life, the betrayal happened in the 4th. My hands tightened around the blanket. "You fainted," he said. "Doctor said it's stress. Maybe you should stop overthinking everything." There it was. That tone. Dismissive. Tired. Already halfway gone. "Did you know?" I asked quietly. "Know what?" "That I'm pregnant." He hesitated. Just a second. Barely noticeable. But I saw it. "Yeah," he said. "Of course I knew." Liar. I closed my eyes. In my last life, I begged this man to stay. I cried. I blamed myself. I believed I wasn't enough. This time, I felt nothing but a cold, steady clarity. The doctor entered, breaking the silence. "You're lucky," he said. "Both you and the baby are fine. But you need rest. Less emotional strain." My husband nodded quickly. "I'll take care of her." The words sounded hollow. The doctor turned to me. "Any pain?" I shook my head. No, that wasn't true. But the pain wasn't physical. After they left, the room went quiet again. My husband checked his phone. "I have a meeting," he said. "I'll come back later." "Of course you do." I watched him turn toward the door. "Wait," I said. He paused. "What?" I met his eyes. "If I changed, would that bother you?" He frowned. "What are you talking about?" "Nothing," I said softly. "Just wondering." He sighed. "You're overthinking again." He left. The door clicked shut. I stared at the ceiling, my hand resting over my stomach. A second life. A second chance. Not to save this marriage. Not to win his love. But to protect myself. And this child. I whispered, barely loud enough to hear. "This time, I won't beg." And for the first time since I woke up, my heart beat steady. Chapter 2. The cracks I ignored before continuing to the next chapter. Please subscribe, like, and comment below. Which part shocked you the most? Let me know. I was discharged 2 days later. My husband drove us home in silence, one hand on the steering wheel, the other tapping his phone whenever he thought I wasn't looking. Every vibration felt loud. Every glance away felt familiar. In my last life, I ignored these moments. This time, I counted them. "You don't have to hover," he said when I didn't look out the window. "The doctor said you're fine." "I know," I replied. My voice sounded calm. Too calm. He glanced at me. "You're acting strange." I smiled faintly. Pregnancy changes people. That wasn't a lie. At home, the apartment looked the same. Same couch where I once cried alone. Same kitchen where I cooked meals he barely touched. Same bedroom where I waited for him while he said he was working late. "I'll be late tonight," he said casually, dropping his keys. "Client dinner." I nodded. "Okay." He paused, clearly expecting something more. "You're not mad." "Why would I be?" He studied my face, uneasy. "You used to ask questions." I met his eyes. Maybe I got tired of asking. Something flickered across his face. Relief? Or guilt? He left soon after. The silence felt heavy but clean. I sat on the couch and let memories wash over me. Memories I hadn't had time to process yet. In my last life, the affair started around this time. Small lies. Late nights. A woman from his office who needed help. Her name slipped into my mind like poison. I stood up. "No," I whispered. "Not yet." I wasn't ready to confront anyone. Not him. Not her. I needed proof. I needed control. That night, I checked his jacket pockets while the apartment was still warm from his presence. My hands shook, but my mind stayed clear. Nothing. Then his phone buzzed on the table. One message preview lit up the screen. "Did you tell her yet?" My chest tightened. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need to. I already knew. In my last life, I found out months later. After the divorce papers. After he said the baby made things complicated. This time, the betrayal stood right in front of me. Quiet, patient, waiting. I went to bed early. When he came home past midnight, I kept my eyes closed. He lay beside me, careful not to touch my stomach. "Sorry I'm late," he murmured. I said nothing. His breathing slowed. Sleep came easily to him, not to me. I stared into the dark, one hand on my belly, the other clenched into the sheets. "I remember everything," I whispered. Every lie, every excuse. Tears slipped down my temples, but I didn't wipe them away. In my last life, I cried because I wanted him to choose me. This time, I cried because I finally understood something. I didn't need him to leave. I needed to let go. And when I did, it wouldn't be loud. It would be devastating. Chapter 3. I chose silence over begging the next morning. I woke up before him. In my last life, mornings like this made me anxious. I used to watch his face while he slept and wonder who he was dreaming about. Now, I already knew the answer, and strangely, it gave me peace. I slipped out of bed and went to the kitchen. When he finally walked in, rubbing his eyes, he froze. "You made breakfast?" he asked. I nodded. "Eggs. Toast. You like it that way?" He frowned. "You don't have to do that." "I want to," I said. That made him uncomfortable. We ate in silence until he cleared his throat. "About last night, the message you might have seen." "I didn't." I cut in softly. His chopsticks paused. "You didn't." I looked up. "Should I have?" "No," he said too fast. "I mean, there's nothing to see." I smiled again. "Then it's fine." He studied me like I was a stranger. "You're really not angry." "I'm pregnant," I replied. "I'm tired." Anger takes energy. That was the truth. Just not the whole truth. After he left for work, I went straight to the hospital. The doctor smiled when she read my chart. "The baby is stable. Do you want to hear the heartbeat again?" "Yes," I said without hesitation. The sound filled the room. Strong. Steady. In my last life, this sound didn't save me. It didn't save the baby either. I swallowed hard. Doctor, if I needed to raise this child alone, would it be possible? She looked at me carefully. Emotionally or financially? Both. She didn't sugarcoat it. It's hard, but not impossible. I nodded. That's enough. On my way out, I ran into someone I hadn't expected. Hey, a familiar voice said. I turned and saw my husband's younger sister, Lena. She blinked when she saw my stomach. You're really pregnant. Yes. She hesitated. Can we talk? We sat at a cafe near the hospital. She kept stirring her coffee without drinking it. You seem different, she finally said. Did my brother do something? I met her eyes. If he did, would you tell me the truth? She looked away. That was answer enough. I won't put you in the middle, I said calmly. I just want to know one thing. Has he been seeing someone? Her lips parted, then pressed together. I knew it, I said, voice steady. You don't have to say anything. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't know how to tell you. It's okay, I replied, and for the first time I meant it. That afternoon I made a decision. I didn't call him. I didn't cry. I opened my laptop and reviewed the documents I had ignored in my last life. Joint accounts, property papers, insurance policies. I remembered how he moved money quietly, how I trusted him blindly. This time I read every line. That evening he came home early. I canceled dinner, he said. I thought we could talk. I closed my laptop. About what? He sat across from me. You're distant. I tilted my head. You asked for space before. I'm just giving it to you. That's not what I meant, he said sharply. You're my wife. For now, I replied. The words hung between us. His face darkened. What does that mean? It means, I said slowly, I'm done begging for honesty. He laughed nervously. You're imagining things. I stood up. Then prove me wrong. Silence. His phone buzzed. I watched his hand tighten around it. You don't have to answer, I said. But remember this moment. He swallowed. Remember what? That I gave you a chance to choose. He said nothing. I went to the bedroom and locked the door. That night I packed a small bag. Not to leave, but to remind myself I could. I placed it by the closet and rested my hand on my belly. I won't repeat the same life, I whispered. Not for love. Not for fear. Outside I heard him pacing. Inside I finally felt in control. And somewhere far away, the woman he chose was waiting. She didn't know it yet. But this time I wasn't the one about to lose everything. Chapter 4. The divorce he thought I'd fear. He served me the divorce papers 3 days later. In my last life, this moment broke me. I remembered screaming, crying, begging him to think about the baby. I remembered collapsing on the floor after he walked out. This time, I was sitting at the dining table, calmly peeling an apple. He stood across from me, papers shaking slightly in his hand. I think this is best for everyone. For everyone? I echoed. He cleared his throat. You're pregnant. Emotions are high. We keep hurting each other. I set the apple down and looked up at him. Say her name. His eyes flickered. There is no her. I smiled. Then this should be easy. He slid the papers toward me. I'll give you a settlement. The apartment stays with me, but you'll get money. Enough to start over. I flipped through the pages slowly. You already decided all this. I didn't want to stress you, he said. This is me protecting you. No, I corrected softly. This is you protecting yourself. His jaw tightened. Sign it. Dragging this out won't help. In my last life, I signed that day. This time, I didn't pick up the pen. I want time, I said. For what? To read, I replied. And to think. He laughed bitterly. You always overthink. And you always underestimate me, I said. He leaned forward. Don't make this hard. You know I'll fight if I have to. For what? I asked. The baby. His silence answered me again. I pushed the papers back. Come back tomorrow. He hesitated. You're not going to cry? I looked at him, really looked at him, the man I once loved, the man who chose another woman while I carried his child. No, I said. I already did that in another life. He frowned. What? Nothing, I replied. You should go. After he left, I locked the door and leaned against it. My hands shook, but my heart didn't. I called the first number I had saved but never dared to use before. Hello? A woman answered. My name is... I paused, steadying myself. I need a lawyer. A good one. That afternoon, I met her in a quiet office downtown. She skimmed the papers, then looked up. These terms are unfair and risky. For me or for him? I asked. For him, she said plainly. If you push back. I nodded. I want to push. She studied my stomach. Are you prepared for what comes with that? I've already lived the worst version of this, I replied. I survived it once. I won't lose again. That evening, my phone rang. Why haven't you signed? He demanded. I won't, I said. What do you mean, you won't? I said calmly. I want full financial disclosure, and I want child support written clearly. He scoffed. You're being greedy. I laughed softly. You're being exposed. You think you can threaten me? He snapped. No, I replied. I think you're scared. Silence. Then quieter. She's pregnant too. There it was. I closed my eyes. Congratulations. You don't get it, he said. I need to protect her. And I need to protect myself, I replied. And my child. He exhaled sharply. You've changed. Yes, I said. That's why you're losing control. He hung up on me. I placed my phone down and pressed my palm to my belly. I won't beg this time, I whispered. I won't bleed quietly. Outside, the city moved on like nothing had happened. But inside me, something solid had formed. Resolve. And this time, when he demanded a divorce to protect his mistress, I didn't fall apart. I stood up, and I let him walk straight toward the consequences he never saw coming. Chapter 5. I met the woman he chose. I didn't plan to meet her. In my last life, I avoided her name like a curse. I pretended she didn't exist until she stood in front of me, holding my husband's hand, smiling like she had won something. This time, fate brought her to me sooner. I was leaving my lawyer's office when I saw her across the street. She was young, softer than I imagined. One hand rested on her belly, the other holding her phone. She laughed at something on the screen, bright and careless. So this was her, the woman he said he needed to protect. Before I could stop myself, my feet moved. Excuse me, I said. She looked up, startled. Yes, I'm his wife, I said calmly. Her face drained of color. I didn't know that I'd exist? I asked gently. She swallowed. He said you were already divorcing. We are, I replied, but we're still married, and still pregnant. Her eyes flicked to my stomach. Fear, guilt, then something harder. I love him, she said quickly. I'm carrying his child. So am I answered. Silence stretched between us. I didn't come to fight, I said. I just wanted to see who he chose. Her voice trembled. He said you'd understand. I almost laughed. Tell me, I said softly. Did he tell you he moved money before asking for a divorce? Her brows knit together. What money? I nodded. That's what I thought. Her phone buzzed. She looked at it, then back at me. He's calling. Answer, I said. Put it on speaker. She hesitated. Then she did. Did you see her? His voice snapped. Yes, she whispered. Don't talk to her, he said sharply. She's unstable. I leaned closer to the phone. Funny. You said the same thing about her to me. Dead silence. She's with you? He asked slowly. Yes, she said. Right in front of me. I smiled. I just wanted to say one thing. What? He hissed. I'm not fighting you for love, I said. I'm fighting you for what's mine. I hung up. The woman stared at me, eyes shaking. What are you doing? Letting truth do its work, I replied. I walked away without looking back. That night, my lawyer called. He's panicking, she said. He's asking for mediation. I lay in bed, one hand on my belly, calm and steady. Good, I said. Let him panic. In my last life, I lost everything quietly. This time, I didn't need revenge. I just needed him to watch the life he built on lies start to crack. And it had only just begun. Chapter 6. I let the truth speak for me. Mediation happened faster than I expected. In my last life, he dragged things out until I was exhausted and broke. This time, he wanted it done quickly. That alone told me everything. We sat across from each other in a quiet room. A long table. 2 lawyers. No emotions allowed, at least that's what the rules said. He wouldn't look at me. I want this settled peacefully, he said, fingers locked together. For everyone involved. For who? I asked. Your mistress or your children? His head snapped up. Don't call her that. I will call her what she is, I replied calmly. Just like I will call this what it is, betrayal. His lawyer cleared his throat. Let's stay focused. My lawyer slid a folder across the table. Full financial disclosure. 3 years of records, including overseas accounts. His face went pale. That's unnecessary, he said quickly. I've already offered a fair amount. I leaned back. Fair for you. You're pregnant, he said suddenly. Stress isn't good for you. I laughed softly. Neither is lying. Yet here we are. The mediator raised a hand. Let's keep emotions in check. I nodded. I'm very calm. And I was. Because I wasn't fighting blind anymore. The papers were opened. Numbers read out loud. Accounts he never mentioned. Transfers he thought no one would trace. His lawyer whispered urgently in his ear. Did you tell her about this? My lawyer asked him. He said nothing. I watched his shoulders sink. Just a little. This changes things, the mediator said carefully. Yes, I agreed. It changes everything. He finally looked at me then. What do you want? I met his eyes. Security, for my child. And distance from you. You're trying to ruin me, he said under his breath. I shook my head. No, I'm letting you face yourself. The meeting ended without an agreement. As we stood to leave, he grabbed my arm. You're enjoying this. I pulled away. I'm surviving. Outside, the air felt lighter. That evening, his sister Lena came over. He told me everything, she said quietly. About the money. About the other woman. And, I asked. She looked ashamed. I didn't think he'd go this far. Neither did I said. Once. She hesitated. She's scared. The woman. She didn't know about the money or the divorce terms. That's not my problem, I replied. Lena nodded slowly. You're different. Yes, I said. I don't bend anymore. After she left, I sat alone in the living room. My phone buzzed. Please, let's talk. Just us. I stared at the message. In my last life, I would have gone. This time, I typed back one line. Say what you need to say in court. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. I placed the phone face down and rested my hands on my belly. I choose us, I whispered. Outside, the city lights flickered. Somewhere else, he was losing sleep. And for the first time, I wasn't the one afraid of tomorrow. Chapter 7. When he realized I was gone, he showed up at the apartment unannounced. In my last life, that kind of surprise made my heart race with hope. This time, it made me tired. I opened the door halfway. You should have called. I did, he said. You didn't answer. I was busy. Doing what? He asked sharply. Learning how to live without you, I replied. He stepped inside anyway, eyes scanning the space like he still owned it. You can't shut me out like this. We need to talk. We've been talking, I said. Through lawyers. That's not the same, he snapped. You're my wife. I met his gaze. On paper. His jaw tightened. You're really going through with this? Yes. He ran a hand through his hair. She's not well. The stress is affecting her pregnancy. I folded my arms. You came here to talk about her? She's carrying my child, he said. I can't abandon her. And I'm carrying yours, I said quietly. Yet you already did. Silence fell hard between us. I never meant to hurt you, he muttered. I laughed once. That's the lie you tell yourself so you can sleep. He stepped closer. You used to understand me. I used to erase myself, I corrected. That's not understanding. His voice softened. If you drop the financial demands, we can settle this quickly. I'll make sure you're comfortable. Comfortable and silent, I said. No, you're being cruel, he said. I looked at him, really looked at him. No, I'm being honest. He clenched his fists. You think you're winning? I shook my head. This isn't a game. It's my life. He stared at my stomach. That baby needs a father. Yes, I said, but not one who teaches betrayal. His face twisted. You're punishing me. No, I replied. I'm choosing myself. He backed away like I'd struck him. You're not the woman I married, he said. I know, I answered. She died waiting for you. He left without another word. That night, I sat alone in the bedroom, holding an old photo in my hands. Us at the beach, smiling, lying. I tore it in half and dropped it into the trash. My phone rang an hour later. It was her. I didn't mean to take him from you, she said, voice shaking. You didn't take him, I replied. He left. She cried softly. He says you're trying to destroy us. I closed my eyes. I'm trying to survive. What do you want? She asked. I thought for a moment. The truth. And peace. She whispered. I don't think he can give either. I hung up and turned off my phone. For the first time since I woke up in this second life, I felt something close to relief. He finally understood it too. I wasn't fighting to keep him. I was learning how to let him go completely, and that scared him more than any threat ever could. Chapter 8. The day everything shifted, the court date came faster than I expected. I sat on the wooden bench, hands folded over my belly, breathing slow. In my last life, I walked into this room shaking, already defeated. This time, I walked in knowing exactly why I was there. He arrived late. When he saw me, his steps slowed. I didn't look away. The judge spoke. Papers were passed. Lawyers argued. Words like assets, custody, and support filled the air. I listened carefully, answering when asked, my voice steady. Then it was his turn. I only want what's fair, he said. I never meant for things to go this far. I raised my hand slightly. May I speak? The judge nodded. I trusted him, I said. With my body, my future, and my child. While I was pregnant, he moved money, lied about another woman, and tried to push me out quietly. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here so my child doesn't grow up learning that silence is the price of love. The room went quiet. His lawyer shifted. He didn't look at me. The judge looked down at the documents again. Given the evidence, the settlement will be revised. His breath caught. I heard it. After the session, he followed me into the hallway. You planned this, he said, voice low. From the start. I shook my head. I prepared. There's a difference. You're taking too much, he snapped. I'm taking responsibility, I replied. Something you avoided. He swallowed. She's leaving me. I paused. I'm sorry. He laughed bitterly. No, you're not. I met his eyes. I am. But not enough to save you. That night, I packed the rest of my things. The apartment echoed as I moved through it. Each drawer emptied felt like air returning to my lungs. I left the keys on the counter. Before walking out, I placed one hand on my belly. We're free, I whispered. Outside, the city lights felt warmer somehow. For the first time, the future didn't scare me. It waited. Chapter 9. A life I choose. The apartment was empty. For the first time in years, I wasn't tied to a name, a betrayal, or a life that wasn't mine. The walls had no reminders of him, no traces of her, no echoes of the woman I used to be, only silence. And in that silence, I could finally hear myself. I set the last box by the door, heavy with the few things I truly needed. My baby's blankets, a few books, my laptop, nothing else. I didn't want the past lingering behind me. I sat by the window, fingers tracing the rim of my coffee cup. Outside, the city moved like it always did. People rushing, living, arguing, loving. Some faces were familiar. Most weren't. And none of it touched me. A letter slid under the door. No name. No return address. I opened it slowly. They're settling in. Asking fewer questions. I exhaled. Not relief. Not anger. Just recognition. Life had moved and I had survived. I pressed my hand to my belly. You're coming into a world that tried to break me, little one. But we'll walk through it differently. The memories came sometimes, unbidden. His face, her voice, the arguments, the cold silences. I let them come. I didn't fight them. I acknowledged them. And then I let them go. Daniel, my friend from before, came over one evening. He leaned against the doorway, watching me sip my coffee. You look different, he said. I am, I replied. I don't live for anyone else anymore. That's brave, he said softly. No, I said. It's necessary. I thought about the life I might have had. The fights, the tears, the begging I did in my last life. I smiled faintly. That person had learned something. But she wasn't me anymore. I opened the window wider, letting the cold air brush my face. Sharp, alive, real. It reminded me I was breathing, that I was here, that I could feel everything. Joy, fear, hope, and not be crushed by it. Somewhere he was regretting, somewhere she was scared, and somewhere else, life was carrying on without me in their version of it. I didn't need to watch them suffer. That wasn't my victory. My victory was this freedom, choice, the quiet power of living honestly. I looked down at my belly. My hand rested lightly, a gentle promise. We'll face the world together, little one. No lies, no fear. And for the first time in my life, I felt the kind of peace that isn't loud. That doesn't need an audience. That doesn't require revenge. It's simple. It's steady. It's mine. And in that moment, I finally smiled fully, completely. A life rebuilt from betrayal, heartbreak, and lies. A life I chose. And it's enough.